wanted to produce Apollo 8 because it just felt like a natural fit. We're in Houston. NASA is right down the road. And space is something that's not really been explored theatrically on a stage.
So the idea for Apollo 8 was actually born out of a family trip that we took to Space Center Houston. There was an IMAX film that chronicled the Apollo missions, and I was, of course, familiar with Apollo 11 because of the moon landing, and I was familiar with Apollo 13 because of the movie. But I didn't know anything about Apollo 8. It was just an unbelievable story, and I was sort of shocked that no one had ever done anything with it before. Ultimately, just ended up deciding to commission our friend and colleague Jamie McGann to write a brand new play from scratch about this mission.
I was immediately drawn to this project just because the all-star lineup that was made up of the creative team, director James Black, scenic designer, lighting designer Kevin Rigdon, projection designer Clint Allen, and costume designer Paige Willson.
What excited me about this costume design was the chance to dive into this particular moment of history even deeper. I found the actual Houston Chronicle newspapers about the Apollo 8 launch and the Life magazines about it, and finding that and then also being able to do this show was a great way to live a little of their history.
I think the thing that excites me the most about this project, being a sound designer, is I knew there was going to be a liftoff or two in this play.
The show has something like 50 scenes. It takes place in multiple locations all around the world, but in a very short time period. So one of the things that I was looking for as a designer is what I would call the wormhole. How can I enter into a world of this play and come up with a design metaphor, a design object that would unify all the worlds of the design. One of the spectacular achievements of the space program was the Saturn V rocket, and I kept on being drawn to that. My memory of the Saturn V is almost like a corrugated metal or a roofing metal surface, and that was sitting in my mind as I read the play and thought about the play. And one day I was reading the play. Across my office, sitting on a counter, was an empty yogurt container, and I sliced it open, and that was the beginning of a three-dimensional model that became this set. It's as though we were actually on the inside of a Saturn V rocket.
One of the reasons I'm so excited about this production is the use of projection. That's something that we as an organization have never really explored before in a theatrical production. We have 3 projectors that we're utilizing that project these images that really enhance the storytelling.
For me personally, it's kind of special that my last thing that I will do officially at 80 Players is this show. The end of my 5-year tenure here in Houston will be bookended with Apollo 8. It started with Apollo 8 that first week I got here, and it's ending with Apollo 8 on the last day of the run of this play here at 80 Players.